Good morning, and hey y'all, hey, welcome to another session of Meditations with Marigny. So this morning we are gonna jump into some deep stuff, y'all. We gotta get over in there. A lot of times I feel like my content is deep, but I also feel like sometimes I stay on the surface because of the fact that I am coming from a religious standpoint, and I am using some of my Christian background in things, and um, just depending on how God flows, it just depends on how it comes out. But there are some serious subjects that, in my opinion, I feel that the church didn't really tap into, didn't really initiate conversations on it when I was younger, did not really talk about it in depth, and oftentimes it was just overlooked. And one of those things was the value of sex in a marriage and the value of intimacy with the one that you're with in a marriage. Remember, my channel is coming from a married perspective. So relationships, yes, we're talking about that. But when I'm speaking, I'm always speaking from a perspective of my becoming a wife. And I'm also speaking from a perspective of marital vows in relationship and commitment and that level of loyalty in a relationship. So I want to talk about the importance of how can I say it? I don't want to say necessarily, well, I can't say it, but to say it. The importance of abstinence, the importance of the discipline to know that you can say no. And this time, most times I talk to the ladies, but today I want to tap into the men. And I want to tap into you because I want to speak to you from a perspective of what you need to be looking for in a woman that is serious about you. So, from a perspective of a woman who is seriously has done the work, has put in the time and the effort to become a wife and to prepare herself to be chosen by someone as that, I want to talk about your contribution to her ability to be what you need for her to be in that area. And the reason that I'm talking about it is in the summer, I did a video called Put a Leash on It. The dogs, put a leash on it. Put a leash on your dog. Like, tie him down. And I want to talk, this one is going to be like a part 2 of Put a Leash on It. And what I want to tap into is, if we, in this age range that I'm dating, in the men that I'm talking to, they have either been married. Most men have been married before. And if I'm truly honest, I feel like my mate is going to have been married before. I think that's going to be a prerequisite, because somebody that's never been married, even if he's been in a long-term committed relationship, I just think that there are some components that you just don't get unless you have been through a marriage, or you have been a man that has strategically saved yourself for the opportunity of marriage. So I do think that there's a thin line there, but I honestly feel that my mate is going to have been married before. He's going to have been married, and he's going to likely have children, and he's going to understand those components and how marriage works. And he's going to have used his elements that he may not have done as well in. He might have been a good husband, but he might not have done great in some other things, and he's going to use those elements to maximize our relationship. So I want to put that prerequisite out there. And so with men, oftentimes you all are led by the physical. And I believe that God intended it to be that way. Like, when I really look at how God intended for sex to be in marriage, I believe that he intended for it to draw us together. So when we think about sexual activity outside of marriage, you got to think about, you are drawing yourself to that person. You are drawing yourself in. And women, we are created to then be connected to that man by that draw. And I believe that God intended for it to be that way. He knew that a woman would need that capacity to be able to bring her back to the man when something goes wrong, when things are not where they need to be, when she's not feeling as in love with him. That element is so sacred. And I'm saying this to men because there are so many women now that have changed the trajectory of how love and marriage is, with just their sexual component to a man and how they can make him feel. You guys, I'm gonna go over some bumps right here. Sorry about that. But this particular road, they have not paved it, and God knows when. I guess it's been since I was a young girl, first learning to drive. So it's really bumpy. So sorry about the noise. But you know, God intended for us to be drawn to you. Well, as a woman who is looking to be a wife, I'm not interested in being drawn to every man that I meet. And I'm not interested in being drawn to even the man that I might think that he is the one, or he has the traits or the characteristics that match what I believe could be a great relationship, but may not be. How many people do you know that you, and this is me talking to the men again, I'm not even talking to the ladies this morning. This video is strictly for my men friends. How many women, I want you to think about this. If you're a solid man, now I'm not talking about the guys that's just out here running the street. I'm talking about a solid brother that really is interested in meeting somebody and wants to have a valuable woman in your life. How many women have you met and you have messed around, slept with her, and when you slept with her, you knew shortly after that she really wasn't the one? You knew she wasn't the one before that time, but once you slept with her, then you felt obligated and or committed to being with her somewhat in that relationship, and therefore you then ended up staying in the relationship much longer than you would have if you had not been sleeping with her. In my Kevin Hart voice. No, that's Cat Williams. In my Cat Williams voice, I'll wait. When we involve sexual activities into non-marital relationships, we then open up a portal and a door that we emotionally attach ourselves to somebody that we otherwise may or may not have even had any relationships with. I know, and I knew that going into the dating world would be difficult for me, and it would be challenging because of my position, not because there is a withholding. There is a difference. In marriage, I know so many husbands that are going through situations where their wives use sex as a weapon. And I think that is one of the most awful things that people can do. One of the things in my divorce, and my husband, and that's why, again, the affair was so shocking to me, because that was not something that was done in our marriage. We had a healthy sexual life. And therefore, I couldn't even relate to what drew you to even go outside, because I'm such a communicator. If you had just sat down and talked to me and said, hey, this is what I feel like I'm missing, unless it was something, you know, illegal, immoral, or something of that sort. Now, there, you know, and relatively speaking, we not finna be jumping off no buildings or anything like that. Y'all just, I'm trying to keep it PG here, because anybody that know me know I will go there. I believe in having discussions about healthy sexual relationships. And many people are so afraid to tap into that. To be honest, like, at our age, if you can't have that kind of conversation with somebody, don't marry that person. Do not marry them. Do not get into a solid relationship with them. Because if you all can't talk about it outside of the bedroom, outside of having your clothes off, you are not going to be able to talk about it once you are inside of it. You're not going to be able to talk about it once you have crossed the line. So you got to know that you can have that conversation before you cross that line. And it needs to be healthy enough that you are having like very detailed conversations. Yes, this will work for me. This right here will not. This is a line that I'm willing. Yeah, let's test that out. This is one that no, I don't think we can do that. And that way, when you also deal with this person, you know already what the expectations are. Many of us married and we did not know what to expect. We just thought that since we liked someone that we would keep moving in that direction. Brothers, on the video I did last summer, I talked about put a leash on it. I guarantee you, you will see things more clearly if you are not sexually involved with her. You will see the things that you saw, but you overlooked because you were tapping. Tap, tap, tap. One of my friends, he did this thing. He did this whole hand clap thing. It was funny because I had never thought about it like that. Now every time I see somebody do that, I'm like, okay, that thought is in my head. But I'm saying to you men, think about what you are doing, not just to her, but what are you doing to yourself every time that you open yourself up to a intimate relationship with a woman. Like so many of us say we don't want to go through that cycle, but then we keep getting in the same cycle. And I'm gonna tell you this too, in a man's position, oftentimes you got to look at, have you really sought healing from what you've dealt with in the past? Many men don't like to go to counseling. You all do not, as an average, like to go and sit down and talk to somebody. You all do not want to go and have those hard conversations with people. And what I will tell you is that for a healed woman and or for a healed man, a man that has gone through counseling and he has done some in-depth work on himself, he gonna be able to see a broken woman quick. For a healed woman, she's going to be able to see a broken man quick. Now, does that mean that those people can't get the necessary assistance to get to a healing place that they can then walk with you? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that when I see men who are in that broken state, I might, still converse with them and still talk with them and things of that sort. But when I ask them something like, did you seek counseling or have you sought counseling? And they're like, no, like counseling. I don't do no counseling. If they say that, that's an automatic shut door for me. And I'm okay with that, because what that tells me also is if we ran into problems, they have an automatic that they don't want to seek outside counsel, and they don't want to make sure that we can find a way to get somebody to help us to work through those processes. And at the end of the day, nobody has all the answers. No one person knows everything. No two people know everything. But if we come together collectively as the body, then we can get to where we need to be, and we can also get the results that we need to get. Many of us might need to work through something. Some things might not bother somebody today, but it might trigger somebody else a month from now or 2 months from now. And so you might have thought that you had dealt with that situation. You're like, oh, I thought I was over that. There's some things recently that happened with me, and I was thinking, now I really thought I was past that. I really did. I had done the counseling, gone to do the work, and then, just really kind of moving along with life. And then something happened, and I was like, ooh, I think I better set up me a couple of sessions, because this thing right here is showing that that's not a complete healed space that I might have thought I was in. So guys, what I'm going to say to you is look at how you involve yourself so quickly with the woman from a sexual standpoint. Make sure that she is the woman. See whether or not you really do like her. See whether or not she really is the one that you want. Any of us can get a release at any given time. But is that what you want to keep doing with multiple people? Is that what you want to keep experiencing with people that you're not really building something with? At the end, you want to make sure that you're in a place where you're in a place as a man that she means something more to you than just being there because you have involved yourself with her sexually. And when I say that, just as many women stay with men because they have involved themselves and they've crossed that line. But there are so many men that I talk to that they are in such unhappy relationships, and they've been unhappy for years. They have been unfulfilled for years. They have been sexually deprived for years, and they stay. And the unfortunate part is that many of those guys are now the men that someone like me meets. And in his broken space, he says, you know, this has happened before, or I've seen this before, but I didn't do that to him. No man that I'm with is going to suffer at the hand of what my ex did. Now, what he will get is he's going to get the conversation from me that, hey, you did this right here, and I'm bringing this to your attention because this reminds me of that. And just in case you're not doing it on purpose, I need for you to know that when you do this right here, it bothers me. And I'm going to give you a specific example. Specifically, I have a big issue with people that don't follow up. Like if we say we're going somewhere and we're going to be there at 7 o'clock, if I'm running late, I'm going to let you know that I'm running late. I'm going to call you or I'm going to text you and I'm going to say, hey, my new ETA, I'm running a little bit behind. I'll send you an ETA on my way there. And when I get in the car and I put that into my GPS, most times I am going to take a screenshot of it and I'm going to send it to you as a form of respect to let you know that if I'm running late, I value your time and I am going to make sure that you know where I am and what time I'm going to be there. But I'm going to give you an advance notice. I'm not going to just show up and not let you know where I am. So for me, that's a biggie. That's a big thing. I don't mind us running late because life happens. Things happen, traffic happens, things of that sort. What does bother me is if you don't let me know that that's what you're doing. And if I've brought that to your attention as somebody that you say that you're interested in and you want to have a viable relationship with me, and then you do it again, I'm going to bring it to your attention the second time, but you won't get a third time. That third time when you get there, I won't be there. I'm going to give you, and sometimes you might not get the second time, just depending on who it is. If it's somebody that I feel like, okay, this right here, we just might need to, but if that's shown to be a trait, no, we're not finna do it. I'm not getting ready to do it. But if you are sexually connected to that person, then you are typically more likely to tolerate that behavior because you've already crossed that line and you have already tapped into an area with them that now you are emotionally connected to them and you don't know how to now pull away from that and not tolerate that type of behavior. And for some people, they might say, oh, that's just a little something, like that ain't even nothing that big. It depends on what big is for you, because what's big for you might not be big for me. And that's why we have to talk in relationships so that we know what is an issue for one person, but might not be an issue for somebody else. So, men, I know this video was a little long. I know that y'all attention span is not that long, but I do think that it was necessary in order for you to get some female feedback from that perspective. If she's not a woman that is willing to wait for you, and if you're not a man that's willing to wait for her, like really know whether or not this woman is somebody that you might think you could spend the rest of your life with her, but she might get on your last nerve in some areas and you might not even know it just yet. You just might need to see whether or not that's something I need to be tapping, or whether that's something that I need to just step away from. And if you have involved yourself sexually, a lot of times it is difficult to walk away from those relationships, even if you know that she's a gold digger, even if you know that she's not emotionally attached to you, even if you know that she's only with you because you can do dinners for her. But the sex is good. Yeah, she probably is good with that. Probably real good. Wonder why. Anyway, I got a friend. He always just at the end of his videos, he just say, "You got it, bye." That's what I'm gonna say today. Got it, bye.